Take a look at these two photos, both observing the Big Dipper constellation. There's clearly a big difference. The right image is much clearer than the left, and the left is incredibly cloudy. The big difference between these two photos, light pollution. Light pollution can be broken up into a couple of categories, namely light trespass, overillumination, glare, light clutter, and sky glow, each of which greatly impact the visibility of the night sky. Overillumination and light clutter can be similar and can come from the same source. Overillumination being when an area is lit much brighter or much longer than necessary, while clutter is the overuse of light sources to light an area. Glare is a form of light pollution most people are familiar with. This is when that annoying car is driving down the road with their brights on and blinds you. Light trespass is also pretty familiar. It's simply unwanted light on one's property. For example, a neighbor's floodlight shining into your yard. Sky glow, the last type, is the most dramatic. This is the haze that we see over a city where the entire sky appears to be lit up. Diving into a bit of the science behind why light pollution happens, light travels in what we call waves that in very simple terms look like this. Light such as blue light travels at shorter wavelengths, meaning the peaks are close together, while redder light travels at longer wavelengths where the peaks are further apart. Light pollution itself is caused by the scattering of these waves in the atmosphere through a process known as Rayleigh scattering. Light begins to interact with gas particles in the atmosphere much smaller than the wave. With this, smaller wavelengths will scatter more compared to longer wavelengths. This process is the same process that happens during the day and is why the sky appears blue. Rayleigh scattering is especially detrimental now as we transition to blue light-rich artificial light. Something else important is called Mie scattering, which is similar to Rayleigh scattering. However, it is light's interaction with larger particles in the atmosphere, such as dust and smog. The larger particle means that longer wavelengths can interact with the atmosphere much easier, so light of all wavelengths can be scattered. It's also important to note that light doesn't just bounce once. It will continue to interact with particles until it eventually reaches you, the observer. This means that in a polluted city environment with lots of particles in the atmosphere, scattering light is much more substantial and furthers the effect of light pollution. Now, why is all of this important? Obviously, you have the most visible impact, the clouding of our night sky ruining visibility, but there are also many impacts on the environment and on humans. A very good example is bird migratory patterns. Bright lights during migration can distract and disorient birds, causing them to crash into tall buildings or in some way leave them unable to complete migration. Light pollution and the artificial light that causes it can also incredibly affect the circadian rhythm in us humans. The circadian rhythm, the 24-hour day-night cycle controlling our sleep habits, affects much more than just when we sleep. The rhythm is deeply linked to hormone production, cell regulation, brain patterns, and much more. When the rhythm is disrupted, detrimental health effects can follow. Some examples include increased chances of diabetes, heart diseases, premature aging, and some types of cancer. So what can you do to prevent further light pollution? When considering light sources in your house, use primarily warmer tones with longer wavelengths. Also consider how often lights are left on and remember to turn off unused lights, particularly those outdoors. Opt for outdoor light fixtures that are activated by motion sensors and make sure to only use the minimum number of lights to sufficiently light up an area. Make sure light fixtures are pointed towards the ground and consider shields for light fixtures that prevent light from traveling upwards. And last but not least, advocate in your community to limit light usage, particularly at night. Cities and towns can install streetlights that direct light only towards the ground. Community buildings not in use can turn lights off. People can be educated on how to limit light pollution and improve human and ecosystem health. Skies can become beautiful and visible to all.